We all love sports. Most of us have played them our whole lives. Me, myself, I played from Pee Wee to high school to college, and even some semi-pro. Baseball, basketball, football. I'm not just a talking head. I've been on radio shows, 88.1 FM WZIP, TV for ZTV, located at the University of Akron. I've talked to different media and players and coaches around the world, so I know what I'm doing. I mean what I say, and as always, I'm ready to play.
For me, my athletic career began at the tender age of 7. Today, at a mature age of 33, I can still be found traveling the country in search of competition. One lesson that I've learned after competing for many years at a high level, it's not just a physical game. One must be strong mentally in order to earn the title of champion. I am a philosopher by study, an athlete by nature, a man that considers reason and intellect to be our greatest attributes.
And now it's time for sports
and discourse.
Work out well. Looking at today's athletes, you know what I'm saying? Do you think that maybe they're too far removed from reality to actually understand the challenges that faces the everyday person?
Okay. You're asking me my opinion personally?
Yeah.
What I think?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think it becomes quite difficult. You know, when on a regular and consistent basis, you know, your table is, you know, filled with food, you know, I mean, just a regular consistent basis, so much that you have to just throw stuff away. You know, when that happens on a regular consistent basis, it becomes difficult to understand, you know, the hunger that, you know, the next man has, you know, that the fact that, you know, they may only have a piece of chicken once in a while, or sometimes no food at all. That concept becomes, you know, blurred. You know, that becomes difficult to understand.
You know, and it's interesting that you said that, because as I was saying earlier, you know, with Braylon Edwards and Donte, you know, Stallworth obviously just got the homicide charge, which only got him 30 days in jail, which is funny by itself. But Stallworth, when the whole thing happened, he was down in Florida. He was actually hanging out with Braylon, had a few drinks. He said he only had 3 or 4, but he wasn't counting. But he only had 3 or 4. That's another issue. But he was down there having drinks, and Braylon supposedly spent over $3,000 in drinks down there in Florida. You know, and just when you look at just the amount of money, as you were saying, you know, the abundance that they have and how it's just thrown away. You have $3,000 and you're spending that on drinks. How long would it take us to, you know what I'm saying, or not just us, but the average person to earn $3,000? You know, and you know, when you look at the money concept, I know these days a lot of athletes, they just tend to throw money at the problem, you know, because a lot of them don't want to really get hands-on involvement for fear of maybe not being able to make money down the road. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And
so what do we do? So what do we do? I mean, we've only posed a question.
Exactly.
So what do we do? Or what do we do about this? I mean, okay, it's a question we pose. We sit around. We see this going on. You know, it's a part of society. We know that. So what do we do? I mean, we're just, as a matter of fact, we're the folks struggling to earn, you know what I'm saying, the $3,000. So who's even listening to what we're talking about? You know. So what are we gonna do? What does it matter? You know, is it of any importance? Is the answer to that question of any significance? You know, do we even need to answer that question? Do we even need to discuss it? I mean, what's the big deal?
Well, you know, I think that it's important from the people that don't have, you know, for the people that have the money or that aren't dealing with those problems. You know, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. You know, there's a lot of athletes that when they're trying to make it to the big time, because maybe their family needs some money or whatever the case may be, there's that hunger, I should say, to help out others, you know. But the issue is, how do you sustain that? And Me personally, I would say it is a significant question. I think that athletes should do more. You know, there was the article, it had came out about Jim Brown and Bill Russell. You know, these are athletes that when they were in their playing days, this was in the 60s during the civil rights times. You know, so there were things that they had to deal with on a regular day basis, not being able to drink from the same water fountains. There was a story where when Jim Brown was recruited to Syracuse, part of the agreement was he couldn't date a white woman while he was, you know what I'm saying, at school there. You know, like, you can come play ball for us, you know what I'm saying, but, you know, there's only so much you can play with, you know what I'm saying, up here, you know. So, I mean, they constantly had things thrown at them, which it was more of either I'm going to sit back and accept it for the money, or I'm going to have pride in myself and for others like me, where I'll even sacrifice, you know what I'm saying, some of my potential earnings, you know what I'm saying, so that we can be better. So that when you look at players like Tiger Woods, Braylon Edwards, Donovan McNabb, LeBron James, now, man, they eat at the best restaurants, they sleep in the finest hotels, they can pretty much do whatever they want, and it was because of the sacrifices that others had did before them.
Okay, and yeah, that's no doubt. And I'm gonna for this 1 second, because it just came to mind, because the word that they can pretty much, that somehow that word just jumped out. They can pretty much do whatever they want to, but the reality of it is that, you know, they can't do whatever they want to do. You know, they are on maybe a little bit longer leash, but leash no doubt. I mean, especially when we're talking about these Negro athletes, let's keep it real. Where we at? What's going on? What's happening? You know, there's only so much they can do. You know, Kobe Bryant got out of something. You know, woo-de-woo, yada yada. But here again, you know, I mentioned his name because there was a situation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So there's only so much you can do. You know what I mean? You're still, you know. Yeah. So and maybe that's reason for them to, you know what I'm saying, not do as much as others may think they should do, you know, because they realize, hey, I'm still being watched, and you all don't look at me as though I'm still being watched because I'm eating so well, you know, because I'm driving this car or whatever, so you think it's all good for me, but the reality of it is they're still watching me like they're watching you. I have to be on my P's and Q's even much more because I'm driving and doing so well, because I'm living right next door to them. I have to be squeaky clean. No, you can't come over. No, I can't fellowship with you anymore. I'm sorry.
So if that's the case, then is there somewhat reluctancy to put themselves out there like that? Is that understandable?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's an argument, you know, and yeah, that's all I'm saying, is that it's pretty much an argument. And so I guess for that reason it's understandable, you know, because I can. It makes sense logically. Yeah. For sure.
When possibly you doing something, even though you have an abundance of things right now, when all of that can be wiped away at 1 minute. Michael Vick, you know what I'm saying, just to name one, and obviously it's not like he was just fighting for, you know, some people's rights. I mean, he has some other things going on, but the whole case being that if you do mess up, if you do something that's not approved of, you know, you can be gone. You know, you have Vic that had an issue with dogs, and he's out the league, and he's in jail for a long time, as where you have Donte Stallworth, who killed somebody. He gets 30 days in jail from what Roger Goodell said he might be suspended for a year, then he'll be back in the league. So, I mean, you know, I guess dogs are more important than humans.
That's a whole other issue.
That is a whole other issue.
We'll have to deal with that one later, right?
Yes, we will.
That's too much right now.
We'll be right back with more Sports and Discourse.